Thanks to the people at WB for sending a bunch of things my way. That's pretty cool. So I got all these screenshots. I'm actually at NRS Studios right now. Yeah, exactly. That's where I've set up for the day. Anyway, so let's check out the stuff that they sent. So this is like the front of it, I guess, right? Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath. There you go. There you go. That's what it looks like right there. Yeah, Eternal Clash skin pack. I mean, it looks cool. I don't know. Like not super important to me. But look, check it out. Whoa. And here's RoboCop. What do y'all think about this? What do y'all think about Shiva? Makes sense, right? This character was already in the storyline in Mortal Kombat 11 and wasn't a playable character. And so, I mean, I even said on the Tuesday show last night, I was like, I would expect Shiva to be in the game because they've made her like she's a model in the game. And I just feel like they wouldn't throw that to waste. So I was expecting that. As for Fujin, this jobber on the right, I don't know anything about this guy. Here's what I know about this guy. He's the wind god version of Raiden. And I don't know. Does that matter? I know people are excited for him because they played him in the 3D Mortal Kombat game. And I thought those games were piles of garbage. So I only ever rented those games. And in fact, I didn't even do that with all of them. I never bought one. I didn't buy a Mortal Kombat between, I don't know, mid 1990s and 2011. So Fujin, I don't know what to say. I'm not that interested. However, that said, NRS does a super good job of making every character interesting. Like characters, if you told me before Mortal Kombat 11 that I would be playing Baraka, one of the most throwaway characters, in my opinion, in previous Mortal Kombat games, if you told me that they would take Scarlet, just an absolute boring palette swap, and would give her like a personality and she'd be cool and she'd be like a zoner, very interesting, never would have thought. But they've done a great job at actually making characters that I thought were boring, didn't matter, actually kind of matter, both story-wise and gameplay-wise. So look, Fujin, I don't know. There's a video that we'll watch where he does wind stuff. And I guess that can be cool. I don't know, we'll see. And then here's the big shalami right here. What do you think about the robotic cop being in Mortal Kombat 11? So my initial thought was that it makes sense because they've had it's very much in the same vein as like Terminator, for example, Spawn. This is like 80s and 90s kids, right? This is what we watched when we were kids, and now we're adults and we're like, cool, a video game with these characters. It's exactly the same as like TMNT in Injustice 2. Like it's for the same market. It's definitely for people who grew up with Mortal Kombat. So I think it makes sense in that way. However, then I thought about it a little bit more, and a few folks on Twitter pointed this out as well, that RoboCop in the movies sort of the RoboCop film is a satire of an ultra-violent potential future where corporations are in control and they don't care at all about human lives, and they put dangerous, untested stuff on the streets, and they're willing to have people walk around, just citizens walking around with terrible weapons of war, essentially. And I don't know if this is like the right time to convert that into just a killing machine, right? It was super violent, yeah, especially for that era. Right, the way that Murph dies is pretty gross. I mean, fantastic movie. And if you're an idiot and view it as if it's like, this is so, like as if the movie's like the whole time, this is so cool, then to me, that's not like wouldn't do it for me. I only think it's funny. I only think it's a good movie because I know it's satire. And now that he's in Mortal Kombat, I feel like that meaning is lost. I feel like the message is out of there. It's just like Starship Troopers. What if there was a Starship Troopers video game that took itself seriously, where it was like, all right, everybody, like, we're doing a great thing of going up there and we're gonna murder all these bugs and cool, and the government's great, and that would be pretty weird, right? So I'm worried about the way that they're gonna portray RoboCop. The game Mortal Kombat doesn't take itself seriously in many ways, right? A lot of the fatalities are jokes. People find them funny, So if it's that same kind of vein that they pursue with RoboCop, then I think it could be done well. But I also think there's a way in which it could be like kind of like a crass conversion of what was a good sarcastic sort of character. Right. Here's a little bit more of some of the dudes. So Nightwolf, right? It's already in the game. Shang Tsung's already in the game. By the way, this is a hilarious face. Can I zoom in? Perfect. Look at this face. And his hand up here, like, what? It's such a great, like, what? Face. Definitely in my meme folder now. I've already moved it into there. And then Fujin right up front with his, I don't know, he looks kind of cool with his big ponytail, I guess. Again, I don't care about the character, but I haven't cared about a bunch of MK characters that have ended up being cool because in MK11 they've made them so much more interesting. So RoboCop, he's about to murder Scorpion, I guess. So that's cool. This is the kind of thing that I'm worried about. I feel like RoboCop, it just totally depends on how they handle it, what the fatalities look like, what the fatal blow looks like. It doesn't super matter to me, but I do think it could be carried off well, and it could be carried off badly. He's definitely about to. You think this is a face attack? I feel like this is going straight for the chest. I feel like we're about to see this right here pop out the back. No, RoboCop was not adverse to killing. Yeah, the whole my only point of concern is that the RoboCop movies were intended to sort of lampoon the idea of this like hyper ultra violent future where corporations are in control. Like that was in that series, like that wasn't good, right? Like a bad thing. So I don't know. We'll see. All right, here's Fujin hanging out. That's cool. This should probably be in a meme folder too. This is actually the Drake meme right here. Look at this guy. He kind of looks like me. What? I'm not sure I agree with that. All right, what else do we got here? Aha. Don't you think these two back to back are just like the perfect? This is the Drake meme, definitely. This is the one right here where he's like, no, this is the rejection of something. RoboCop as ultra violent future, and it's cool. Let's glorify this. No. And then this is the one where he's like, yeah, actually, maybe we should like slightly alter his fingers so there's like a thumbs up, something like that. But this is the one where it's like RoboCop as satire of gross potential future. Yeah. Hey, buddy. It's not all bad in here. This guy's just here for his spa day. And that's pretty awful. That guy's just hanging out here. Hey, bud. Bad hair day? Yeah. Well, maybe not. I mean, maybe he's just got his hair all bundled up. He's got like a towel around his head, That's probably what it is. Probably just a towel up there. Just a long-haired person hanging out. Ooh, boy. Go back to this shot. Oh, man. And he had a little bit too much to eat for breakfast. Maybe should have waited that 20 minutes they say you're supposed to wait before you get into the water. This is so great. We'll listen to the videos on this because there's a video that's associated with this that I love. because the music on it is perfect. It's so good. This is something I really wanted actually. Was friendships back? Is he throwing a shrimp on the Barbie? Yes. Now this is actually meat, I guess. This is a banger. But yeah, there's shrimp down here. We'll see the video. You can definitely freeze it and look at that. So here's a little bit about these two characters. Shiva, the robotic policeman. Ooh. Here he is up here. I mean, it looks great. You know, it really looks like RoboCop. They definitely did a good job on that front. It really does look like. And, you know, he's got a shield out here that I guess he just produced. He's got a shield, I guess. I don't know. And here's Shiva. Shiva looks cool. I mean, she looks like a, what are they, Shokan warriors, something like that? She definitely looks better than before. I mean, yeah, think back to Mortal Kombat 9. But that's how it was in many of the characters' cases. For my money, every single character looks better than they did in MK9. Most of them are cooler designs, I think, than MKX as well. So I think MK11 for me is definitely the height of characters in Mortal Kombat. You know, is whether it's your favorite like list of characters, like your set of characters. Maybe there's one that you wanted to see, like maybe you're happy that Fujin's in. But as far as the personality that they've given to each character, this is the best for sure. Right, so here's the next one. Okay, so she has flames. And this is probably mid-match because this guy's turning the ice on. So, you know, thinking back to Goro and MKX, he had some flame stuff as well. They have Dragon Heritage or whatever. Hopefully RoboCop's animations aren't janky. No, you know what? I think this is the perfect kind of situation for the animation to be janky. Don't you think? Don't you think that's actually the perfect character for it to be janky on? If you think back to MKX, think about Jason. Many of whose movements are mirrored in Terminator now, so you can kind of think of both of those characters. Their animations are a little stiff, and that's how many animations were. I think MK11 improved that a lot for many of the characters, but in previous games, certainly there were lots of like stiff, sort of straight legs, straight arms, like without really feeling like they're like throwing their body into it. And I thought that was kind of weird looking for many of the cast. But when it comes to specific characters who you know as stiff, like Jason, like Terminator, or who are just kind of weird monsters, like thinking about Scarecrow in Injustice 2, how they did him in that game. Many of his animations are weird and stiff and a little janky, but it just fits perfectly with that kind of monster character. So I thought his Scarecrow, I thought was maybe the best looking character in that game, not just because of the gear, but because his animations, his personality maybe fit the style of animations that NRS had. And I feel that RoboCop's the same way. Like I expect him to be really stiff and weird, but I think that will fit perfectly. So even though other characters in this game, I think they've put in much nicer animations. RoboCop, yeah, RoboCop, he's gonna have a weird stiff walk, and it'll look good. How it should be. He'll have his punches will be like weird, you know, very robot-y, and that's weird on other characters in the past, but it will be perfect on RoboCop. Scarecrow's so great. What a cool character. They did him so well. They did such a good job with all the faces. They really, all of them look so good. Like this is such a, there's so much character in this face. You know, they must have used somebody's face as a model, so there's some actress doing this, but then they make changes and the actress does a great job at like bringing out the personality. I really like it. They did great. All right, this is actually the last of the screenshots that I have here. So here's Frost with her weird robot body. See down here. Made of robot stuff. And yeah, I mean, she looks cool. She's a cool looking character. So what do we got on this side? Are you about to throw a projectile? So to me, this implies that she has a projectile she's gonna throw. Guess we'll see. Or maybe this is like a normal where it's a shield that she's usually holding and she try to hit you with the shield. So people earlier brought up the amount of money that this stuff is going to be sold for, and I feel like we should talk about that. So, okay, so if you don't have MK11 already, then you can pre-order it with all the doohickeys for $60. It's just like a new game, I guess, right? If you do already have MK11, then you can pre-order for $40, or with the combat pack for $50. So it's a $40 or $50 purchase, I guess, if you already have MK11. Like we said before, if you don't want to pay money, you could get, what was it? It was new stages and new stage fatalities and something else for free. Oh yeah, fan favorite stages, stage fatalities, and friendships. So you'll have access to that stuff even if you don't want to pay money. Anyway, so what do you guys think about that? Anyway, yeah, let's chat about this price. So I personally feel like it's reasonable. I don't want to be too much of a mark about it though. You know, if you feel like it's too much, then let me know what you think. I'm just curious what everybody does think. For me, I mean, I think it makes sense. Look, the price of making games is very high. I guess I might have a little bit more sympathy for it because it's something I'm involved in, not with the creation of Mortal Kombat, but as a lawyer, I have clients who make video games. And I know that it costs them a lot of money. Even games that you might not expect are gonna cost a lot of money. They all cost a lot of money. Even, you know, single person indie games with 6-figure budgets over time. I mean, it just costs a lot. So I sympathize about that. What is the price? The price, yeah, we mentioned before, it was if you want to get the game brand new, then it's, I believe, $60. It's buying a whole new game. If you are upgrading MK11 to this new stuff, then it's $40 just for the expansion, and then if you want to get the combat pack bundle, so like more characters, I imagine, then that's $50. So $40 or $50. And I don't know how much it costs to make MK11, but I imagine it was a lot because they put a lot of stuff in. They put a brand new story mode, at least I don't know how long it is, right? It's new story content in there, new characters. And when games launch nowadays, they know that they can't really charge more than what people expect. Like the base game's going to be like $60. And then maybe you charge money for DLC. But you, as the people who are bankrolling it, right? Like you are counting on having more stuff to sell. Almost never nowadays can get away with making a AAA game for $60 by itself. You have to depend on selling other stuff, characters, skins, more story content, whatever it is, in order to make your money back. Well, look, in other games, in other genres, people may be more accustomed to free-to-play kind of situations. And what that means for some people is that they never spend money on the game. What it means for other people is that they spend a tremendous amount of money on the game. You know, there tends to be a long tail about that. The people who spend the most money are way on the bottom of the asymptote. I mean, that's how it is. But you have this weird almost bifurcation between the majority of people who spend zero or little money on it, less money than if it was just a full purchase game, and then some people who are spending, you know, wild amounts of money on that stuff. I get it. I mean, it's certainly been a successful model. I kind of feel like it's a little predatory. I don't know. I'm not super stoked about that kind of model. I like the idea of free to play, certainly, but I also feel bad when there are people who are spending thousands of dollars on a single game. I don't know. The old fashioned. So I would rather have a situation like this where it feels like I'm like buying new stuff. You know, I'm definitely gonna play the story mode. I'm gonna be playing with the new characters. At least some of them, certainly. I'll test all of them out in training mode at least, and then maybe I'll play Shiva, maybe I'll play RoboCop. I don't know. But it feels to me like it's something that I'm not opposed to. I'm not opposed to the cost. Sure, I think that makes sense, Eric Man. I mean, if you're somebody who bought MK11 and it's not something you've kept up with, yeah, I get it. I get it. Not getting this new stuff. I definitely am keeping up with it. You know, I mean, I really like the game. But if that's not for you, then it makes sense to me. So anyway, yes, $60 to buy all of this stuff. If you're somebody who doesn't already have MK11, if you already have MK11, then it's $40 to buy everything, and then $40 to buy most of it, and $50 to buy everything. I agree. I think the price is fine personally, and it seems like there haven't been too many people in the chat who have strongly disagreed. Back through, I might have just missed. Okay, yeah, Ace Bunyan says, I understand people saying it's too expensive, although maybe he doesn't think that.